What's up, people? How's it going? Hopefully, you guys are having a super fantastic day. All right, so I'm going to be channeling today. I have quite a bit of messages. I got quite a bit of downloads over the weekend. So today is Monday, August 18th. Although that really isn't relevant that much, only because whenever you get the message is when you're supposed to receive it. So don't focus so much on the day when you're supposed to receive this message. It is going to appear on your screen, okay? And sometimes when it does appear on your screen, you may get it before something happens. So this message can either be a confirmation or it can be a warning, okay? So, or it can just basically be something that you're going through, in the present time. All right, so guys, I'm going to focus my energy so I can channel. All right, so I'm seeing a beach, white sand, really easy flowing. I'm seeing a boat. Now I'm seeing choppy water. So one of those is the before, one is after. Okay, so the before is actually the calmer waters. The after, or the present, is the choppy water. Then I see a boat. There's water coming out of the boat. It's leaking. There's water coming into the boat. There's a hole at the bottom of the boat. It's sinking. Okay. Okay, I see weights. Why am I seeing weights? Okay, there's weights that's now inside of the sinking boat. So not only is there water coming into the boat, there are weights that's forcing it to go down. So the person that is in this boat, so before they were relaxing, they were chilling, they were happy, everything was going well. But they made a decision to go against the grain. Because I'm seeing the wind trying to carry them in a certain direction, but they're fighting against it. They're completely going against where the universe is trying to take them. So the universe was trying to take them to a place where their ego wasn't going to guide their steps, but they decided to go with their ego. I'm trying to understand how did they end up in this boat? Okay, so they committed certain actions to get. So they weren't supposed to be in that boat. They were supposed to stay on land. So they're trying to get somewhere they're not supposed to be. And on the way there, okay, so they were in their own space in the beginning. What happened was they saw something on the other side of where they were, and their ego told them to take a certain path to get to this boat. And the boat looked fine at first. It was small, it was older, but it looked like it was a way for them to get from one place to the other. And it looks like Holy Spirit, their higher self, their spirit guides, their higher level ancestors told them not to do this. They told them to stay where they were. But their ego was forcing them to get to this other side. Well, what was on the other side? A relationship that they weren't supposed to be in. confirmation. So they were trying to get there fast. Why? I see a clock. I see time running out. So they were trying to get to a relationship they weren't supposed to be in. They were supposed to stay where they were. But their ego forced them to take a different route. So they got in the boat to try to get to the other side, and as they got to the middle, they realized that the boat had a hole in it. And what they couldn't see from the side where they were relaxing was that that water was full of sharks. So now that their ego has driven them to a place where they're in the middle, not only are they sinking, but now there's weights that's in that boat that they weren't seeing at first, and it's causing the weights and so you have the weights that's inside of the boat that's putting pressure on the boat, the weight of the boat, and then you have the water that's coming up into the boat, and it's causing this boat to sink. But there's sharks all around this boat, so there's no way of escaping this. It's because the person that they were trying to get to on the other side is protected. But had they stayed where they were and not allowed their ego to drive them to that point, they would have never been in this situation. I'm seeing red flags everywhere. So they saw the red flags, they ignored it. So this message is to let whoever this resonates with. I'm seeing dumbbells. I'm seeing a bell like a cowbell. It's ringing a lot. And I'm seeing time's up. Whoever this resonates with, somebody was allowing their ego to guide their decision making, and they decided to jump into waters that had nothing to do with them. And instead of them staying where they're supposed to, where it was calm, they allowed their ego to fool them into thinking that they can take somebody else's spot, or they can force themselves into somebody else's destiny. Except for that person, they're protected. So there's no way. So you were supposed to feel like those waters were calm, and you weren't supposed to know all of the dangers that were in that water unless you decided to take that route and it was not divinely guided. So in other words, your ego forced you into some waters that you thought were calm, which they were not. So what's going to happen now? Whoever this message is for, you've been hearing tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, like time is up, time is up, time is up. You've been warned over and over and over. Or if it's not you, it's the person that's messing with you. They've been warned to stay out of those waters, to not even step into it, because it was more than what meets the eye. I'm seeing an iceberg. So there was something below the surface, in the surface of the water. There was something below that surface of the water that they couldn't see. But had they stayed where they were supposed to, they wouldn't even need to worry about it. But they didn't. That's not what they did. The message is, and this may not be for the collective, this may be for the people who are going against the collective. Your time is up. And what fish you thought you were catching weren't fish at all, they're sharks. Now you get to swim with the sharks because you didn't listen to divine guidance. I keep hearing the clock ticking. It's ticking. And I'm seeing sirens, and now they're saying, now you have to play with us, because you're not going to make it to the other side. All right. That's it. It's closed. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.